Hey there, this is Eddie O. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit that bell. Get notified if you like these kind of videos. Subscribe. Live here, found some pictures of the reset and the mud flood. Hey, I'm live. I'm live now. Hey, Dom. That's right, we are live, and I am on a phone call with my business partner, Tia. I don't think Tia realizes I'm live, but that's okay. We've got some great pictures of the mud flood. People ask about these layers and who is digging this up, and we're going to look at some pictures in America of the United States, and we can call these construction photos if we'd like. We can call these photos of, some digging, a lot of dirt. There's a lot of dirt being moved here. There are layers and layers of buildings that seem to have a clear amount of dirt where they were digging out things. Okay, we talk about the mud flood. They say it could have been liquefaction. Liquefaction is the vibration of solid sand, and you vibrate it, and it will turn into liquidy stuff. You've seen the science videos on YouTube, right? Just like my YouTube, Eddie O knows. Thank you. Please subscribe. Thank you for the likes and shares. I do appreciate it. Link tree in the bio, as always. Eddie O knows, and EdTalk. Never trust these pictures with a couple of guys. And these horses obviously built this place. It's not like they're just cleaning things up. Let's be a little more thoughtful of our thoughts of the construction of America. And this is what we had to work with. This is what we are told the 1800s were like. We had horses, we had soldiers, we had the Civil War, we had wars. The War of 1812 was probably in 1812, I'm guessing. So this is what we had. We had wagons. Those wheels don't look like they're really good. This is the rock that they're like, yeah, these are the only rocks we know about. This is not those giant castles or anything, because that would just be silly. But then we see pictures like this. And these men are not looking like they're doing construction, but rather digging things out or unearthing layers of a previously set level, or liquefaction, or mud flood. The mud could have come from anywhere. I don't know. No one really has a good answer for that. But look at this now. Does this look like developing building, or does this look like excavation? To me, it looks like excavation. It does not look like they have any of these tools necessary to be constructing. It looks like they have a picture. Look at the building behind it. This is the turn of the century, after the War of 1812. Late 1800s, I'm assuming 1906 perhaps, I think. Here, in the big old city. Now look at this. They went up there and built that, chiseled that out of there? No, of course not. They excavated and undug the mud. Undug the mud flood. They undug the mud. What did they do with the undug mud? I don't know, threw it in the ocean, perhaps. Thank you for the likes and shares, guys. I do appreciate it. But if you take a different perspective of what they're telling us, in the few years that these buildings were constructed and this construction, we're seeing clear evidence of unearthing, cleaning up, excavation, digging things up that were already here. But no, this is all freshly built, actually. This was just finished in a short time. All of this construction. When this photo was taken, this construction was done before that photo was taken. How's the audio, Azrael? Get a thumbs up on that, buddy. Please follow Azrael. It is the Jam of Christmas. Color with love. Color with love. Well, good. That's good to know. So we see these buildings in the turn of the last century that are being uncovered, unearthed. And when you see, these gentlemen here at the Green Mills building, flour mills, oh, they went and painted stuff all around and made up all these different hat stores. And no, guess what? There was a previous civilization here not too long ago that, guess what? They lived in these buildings we're living in. We're living in the apocalyptic ruins of a previous civilization that was not there when these photos were taken. But these buildings were built before these photos were taken, and they were constructed in just a short period before as well. So they didn't have to change the names, you know what I mean? When you had the sign, there was a Italian man who moved to America, and he bought a sausage car with all his money, and all he wanted to do is point. Luigi is on there, and the sausage car said, Vinicio. He was like, well, I'm Luigi. He went in there, he went with Vinicio. And he had Vinicio's side, and he made a fortune. Vinicio's still in New York to this day. I think this is part of it. Green Mills is the Vinicio's sausage guy. But, alas, we won't talk about sausage and Coney Island hot dogs and where the World's Fair and Coney Island hot dogs have to do with each other. Now let's look here. This construction was also done. Oh, wait, where are we now? Yeah, no, still the United States. Yes, we are not changing anywhere. This is the United States of America. And over again, we see removal of dirt. We never see construction photos. We only see tinted out vanilla sky. What does that say down here? 1908, the picture in the bottom left. 1908. So all these buildings were done by candle, right? Donkeys Incorporated. And the will of good men. The people in the 1800s could just work harder. They would get together. They would oomph. They had all the time in the world and all the, as the story goes, we know what we've been taught in high school, in middle school, and grade school, and after school. But look at the clear, construction. I mean, modeling. Were they using that device to construct buildings? It looks like it's digging out the sign of that building. A steam shovel digs on Marion Street. It is digging. What is it digging? What is it? Yeah, look at those guys. Those guys are in the club, man. Those guys, not the guy on the right. The guy on the right looks like he's not even from the same photo. And we do know that these photos are definitely adjusted and photoshopped, so to say. The vanilla skies on all these, if you zoom in on the edging, they are clearly cropped out and adjusted. And what's with that telephone pole up on the top right up there? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is it going the other way too? So, in 1914. There's that telephone pole that's there. Man, when I was a kid, remember seeing the telephone pole guy, like the first time when you were a kid, and he put those spikes on his boots? He's like, ching, 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 going, you want up the telephone pole, right? Generation X, you feel me? Who's got some of them spikes to get up those telephone poles? But what do we see here? Beach day, summertime. Someplace, Venice, like the Venice, Italy there, with all the roads are all water. It's like la la la. Yeah, right, bro. See, that's the water. I don't think was. Let's build the foundation underwater. That cracked me up, guys. Thank you for being here. Hi, Arya, Dom, my man. Hey, Arya. That's my son, Dominic. Dominic, that's Arya. These are my people, man. You know, my sponsors. Thank you for liking. Please, if you're not already following me, please do so. Share the live again, a couple taps. And hit that bell so you are notified when I'm live. If you like these kind of videos, they're all uploaded to the YouTube at Eddie Knows, of course. Link tree in the bio. Let's go. So, what do we see? Let's take a moment. Who's home? How many people? Is this a great no great fire in this town tonight? So these no, that was so. Now look at what are you guys looking at? Just pick one and kind of look at it. See in the bottom right is what I'm looking at. Looks like a bridge on top. Look at all these places to hang out. Look at how cool this place is. Like everywhere. It's like it's not conformed Unity Square Matrix buildings like some of the Art Deco buildings are that we see built like the Empire State Building, the Matrix style buildings that are all square for a colony, for a reset population, and you know what I'm saying, bro. Harvest, but this had character. Now, it's all like nice and uniform. Obviously, shared very similar techniques and tactics for gathering, communicating, and just getting along. And it wasn't like they were out competing each other because this was clearly a worldwide structure that was all not all of a sudden thrown up out of the earth from 1800 to 1900 in like 100 years after what they were. What? Yeah, no, bro. Of course not. And I'm not trying to sound like duh, but this is all what Eddie knows. Now, I don't think this is a real photo, is it? No, of course not. This looks like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Somewhere out of nowhere. Courage. Stupid dog. That was kind of a dick. He was a bowling hat guy, man. He was one of these guys with the bowling hats. And this is where we're told we were living when we lived in the 1800s. And Abraham Lincoln was born in a shack, right? They even got their own share of mud. They have to dig out their own little mini mud flood. They're like, we don't have a shovel, bro. I'm surprised they don't have more shovels. Maybe all those shields and the symbols and the crests, those are all actually shovels. Boom, Eddie knows. Game. Points awarded. Thank you for liking. Geez, I hope you're all excited for the new season of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Dimensioner? Coming at you 2025. Whole new program, same old host. It's going to be great. Know thyself. Thanks for being here. Let's tap that auto tapper. So we see small town woe of this gentleman and their tree with no foliage. What do we got here? 1867. Constructed. When was this building constructed? Today. Just finished. Where were they keeping all of the horses? Where were the horse mills? Where was the food for the horses? Where was the water for the horses? This is the research we like to do. Say how many floors beneath this? How many millions of tons of granite is this? Well, certainly, mostly demolished. And here's, again, a couple of horses, and they just finished the job well done, but they're digging up stuff, there's still dirt, I guess, after the construction. There's no leftover wrought iron steel or brick or more. There's no debris, no dumpsters. There's no beeping sirens, no, I don't know. And what do we see in the distance here at the end of Baltimore Avenue, looking north from 11th Street, about 1890? Would you look at the Argentine limestone is exposed about street level? Now, you've got to consider levels. If there were multiple resets in population programs, depopulation, assimilation, indoctrination, destruction, assimilation, indoctrination. It's a pattern that they repeat to these resets every 400 years or so, right? I guess. So what if each of these levels They like take one peel a level off. It's like a level of Dungeons and Dragons on the table, and they just like take a tablecloth off, and that's another layer of dirt. And then there's another tablecloth under the tablecloth, you see, with another map, right? Feel me? Legend of Zelda getting deep in the tunnel systems. And how deep does it go? You know what I mean? So it's like a start up at the top of the buildings, and they had nice grass up there. How high did the terrain, I don't know what we call sea level, right? It's funny that we are demanded by sea level. Where is up, not down? Where's not up? Sea level. They call it sea level. All these buildings look pretty effing level. You know what I mean? Where's all the level and masons and their little, oh, we use this compass and square. Look at my logo on my dress. Bippity boopity beep. I'm a mason. I'm a square doo 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 doo. Yo, the Scottish conquered England in a war. Yeah, you go wear your dress. It's kicking balls. Come on. I'll take groundskeeper Willie any day. And they fucking tell, like, yeah, Irish. Who built the city? What do they tell us about this? What do you hear? Cowboys walking around? What is this? 1890? A couple telephone lines, right? How many phones are working today? Who's calling anybody at 1890? What's going on? What are you doing in that giant building down the street? Yo, I don't know. These stairs are giant. I can't even get up to the roof, right? No running water in these buildings, generally, right? They are in the Art Deco buildings. But here we go. These are our people who are responsible for the direction and photography. This is funded photography, all these evidential photos that are vanilla sky background, and, you know, the narrative comes with photos at this point. Are these photos taken at these times? Were these photos taken hundreds of years ago? Do they use these same images reset after reset? Are we the first digital reset guys? Like we have actually no trash? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like not burn. We are living in a digital world. Delaware Street. It's already named Delaware Street when they got there. It's like, what do we name this? It's like, it's already named shit, dude. And not like named after Pocahontas. And this is an Indian Misquamicut, and Massachusetts is where I live, and everything all across the land. The Turtle Island, right? Turtle Island, that's where we live. Turtle Island. Please see my YouTube shadow work videos where I have Ninja Turtle with the teachings of Amato Yoshi, better known as Splinter Sensei. And each Ninja Turtle looks into themselves and finds fault with their character, and Splinter guides them through shadow work exercises individually for Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, and Leonardo, of course. Hero Complex, Guild. So tune in for that. Come follow me. I'm up to 100 subscribers on YouTube, which is great. So these people. What is I don't even know. Lattice. Who came through here first? Like, who did the rough job? You know, who came through with the big broom? And then, you know, no photos with manpower. What do you mean manpower? Were they eating other people? Were they like what kind of manpower? Punching the dirt, punching the buildings together. What are you talking about? They apparently these buildings, when constructed, were like by hand. Obviously, these buildings, like, this is great. I love this picture. This is one of the best pictures I've come across. I'm grateful to share it today. Let that soak in. Yep. And these are the streets, Delaware main streets. This is not like off in the woods, right? Mechanics Bank building on left. As we may see, these are not my own pictures. TikTok, is this for entertainment purpose? Are you not entertained? Who's in this picture? Anyone? I don't see anybody. Even that house is a house on a house, and then it could be another house. It's a set. It's a plan board. It's like a little fucking hamster cage. We're living in a hamster cage. There's my house when I was drinking. There was still that guy. Great to a little blurry there. Some street though. Is that like the setup that the colonials came, right? The generals hut, outhouse. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. What's going on here? 1910. I don't see anybody. I wonder what the population of 1910 was. Seattle Municipal Archives. So Seattle in 1910. Hey, okay, Google. 237,000 people. Bye. Much love. Make sure you guys follow the New Earth channel in my link tree in my bio as well. The New Earth channel 444 coming at you in the new year 2025. Portals open. New seasons of Are You Smarter Than Fifth Dimension? So now here's this Walnut Street between 7th and 8th Streets. Okay, we're following this make crazy story here. This is not Cat in the Hat. So south on Walnut Street between 7th and 8th Street, 1870. Excavating the Argentine limestone from beneath a cover of lows. What is that word? Okay, Google. Particles of clay. So what stupid word? Loas. Whenever you're seeing things about history, be very wary when they use the word pottery. When they say, "Oh, they found pottery," then the story's closed. Oh, pottery made pottery, and that's okay. I'm gonna read this one more time for the kids in the back. South on Walnut Street, between 7th and 8th Street, excavating limestone for the construction of these buildings that were going to be built in a couple of years. So these four guys are on it, right? Where is the excavating machinery? Where is the excavated piece of limestone that they are into? Is it that guy with that cart right there? Is there a horse coming? Are there thousands of horses? When you logistically look at one building and the construction of one single building, any old building, not this building I speak of, but sure, this building, but I mean the more along the lines of castles, right? The Denny Hotel would be a perfect example of this. Later called the Washington Hotel, previously known as this, and they'll say something else was there first, and then it got torn down, and then they built this, and then it got torn down, and then they built, now this one's here, and the third one, and this is the third building that was here. Of course it wasn't. Of course. They say you should see the pictures that they say that was at the Empire State Building that they tore down. If you're at Google at home, say, hey, what was at the address of the Empire State Building before it was constructed in 1931. And it's like the Super Empire Strikes Back building. It's all spikes and towers. It's insane looking. So this, it's all granite limestone, right? I don't have the AI on right now, but I've done this 100 times. How many blocks of granite that are dressed and shaped? They weigh about, 10 tons each, and there's usually about 10,000 to 100,000, and it adds up to like million tons, and especially the buildings that go underground. Yeah, what's going on here? Denny Hill, slowly washed away by water cannons. So they came through here with water cannons, and they had to clean up the mud from the mud flood. And they cleaned up the mud, and they put the mud out. They took the mud away, and they said, "Look at all this cool stuff. What are we going to tell everybody? Let's say we built it all." But that's not cool. And they problem is, there is issue with that, obviously. So what's going on here? Is this construction photos? Is this the construction materials in hand? These pipes? Well, this is just maintenance. This wouldn't be excavation. Now let's take a look at the buildings in the back. Let's look at these buildings. Anyone in particular? That man that's standing there on that board, is that Photoshop? Absolutely, probably, right? These are touched up. All of these vanilla skies, it is crimped and cropped, and just like photo manipulation would be in that time, exactly what you would think. You zoom in on the edges, and it shows and it cuts out certain things. But we did, Move better as you move along. Never trust these guys. Horse teams marching up Marion Street. Also in the construction process. So this is also, look at these horses in a row. When you would say a large granite block would weigh, tons, weigh 10 tons. And I asked, I'm like, how would a wealthy family around the 1880s get around? And what if like a rich ass family had to move before cars? Like how many horses would pull their carriage and they all wanted to be in the carriage and tow like another carriage behind it? Could they do four horses and like go to like another part of like the country from like one side of Spain to another castle if they were the wealthiest people? And AI, it's like jamming with it, and it's like you couldn't. I mean, they'd probably use two horses, and I'm like, well, how much? Even like, it's like, well, it would have to be. And it was like six horses to move it. It would be like implausible. It's like sort of dicks, even to move like one block, let alone stand blocks upon blocks and raise them with wooden scaffolding. And to build this is no problem, right? How did this get built with scaffolding that's exactly like this and something was removed? Or was, this isn't paper, this isn't a mold. This isn't. Well, what I do when I build things, pack them in. Pack them in. And these train tracks, they started undigging the train tracks that were an extraordinary accomplishment in North America. Matter of years, the entire railroad was constructed and built, and in the Confederate States downside, there was a different gauge of track, and I think it was 10,000 miles of track got changed, the gauge of railroad tracks in 36 hours, I believe. It's crazy narrative facts. It gets awfully, awfully silly when you start looking at things in a row and you start seeing, you don't realize it's a running gag, I suppose, at first, right? It's just a gag. That makes sense? Kinda. But let's do one more run through. That's about all those photos. So I'm going to upload this to YouTube. Please follow me on YouTube in my link tree. Appreciate all the likes. Follow Eddie if you haven't already. Appreciate you guys. Goodbye. Goodbye.